Hey, good morning. Happy Friday. I'm getting started a little bit early because I have to go meet my sister over in Lawton. We let her borrow our big van so that her and another family could take a trip up to, uh, I don't know, South Dakota, I think. Anyway, so I'm meeting my sister this morning, and so I'm just getting started a few minutes early. So today I want to talk about prayer. I know I've talked about prayer before on here, but I want to do it again because I think that people are missing out because they're not praying the way that they should or enough. And I know that you're probably thinking, pray enough. Yes, I do. I pray enough. I pray every day. Well, let me ask you, how long do your prayers last? When Jared was in seminary a few years ago, he had to read this book. I can't even remember what it's called, but it's really small. And it talks about the way that people pray and praying through the Psalms. And there was something that said, on average, evangelicals, you and me, churchgoers, pray about 3 minutes, but they think it's like 30. Okay. So, yeah, sometimes prayer can seem like it lasts a long time, but we're not praying enough. And so I wanted to do this topic because this Sunday we're doing Prayer Sunday, and back in the end of February or beginning of March, before all the COVID stuff started hitting us here, um, my Sunday school class and we spent part of our Sunday school hour in the sanctuary just praying individually for the things that have been burdening us and the things we have been going through. And then corporate prayer, just praying together as one large group. And so we're doing that again this Sunday. And so I think it's fitting that I'm going to talk about prayer because I want to invite every woman. I know that it is during the Sunday school hour, but it's just a little bit of your time. And it's just one Sunday that you can skip Sunday school and then be with other women outside of your class and have them pray for you and over you. So I encourage you, if you go to our church, that that's if you want to, but I encourage you to come to the prayer time because let me tell you, um, it's been 6, 7 months since then, and we're all still talking about it and how much more we need it again. Okay, so I'm doing this prayer devotional with Jared and the boys, and I'm going to read, and it's going through the Psalms or certain Psalms. And if anyone had a reason to be praying and crying out to God, it would be David, right? Because as we know from David's life through the Old Testament, we know that he needed God more than God, obviously, more than God needs any of us, but he needed God more than anything because he was persecuted by Saul. And Saul sought to kill him several times. He was despised by his wife, Saul's daughter, Michal, just for dancing. I mean, I think if Jared was dancing, the last thing I would do would be despising him. Laughing, maybe. Despising, not so much, okay? And David was dancing for a good reason. He was happy and joyous for his victory, right? But his wife despised him for it. And then his son Absalom tried to overthrow him. So David's life was just a turmoil, even though he was God's anointed, right? So he had a reason to pray. So let me just read you a few things out of Psalms that really stuck out to me this week about prayer, okay? Psalms 3:3 says, "But you, O Lord, are a shield about me, my glory and the lifter of my head." That's not what I was. Is that right? Okay. I don't think that's the right verse that I was trying to read. Oh, I'm sorry. Psalm 4:3. I wrote it down wrong. But know that the Lord has set apart the godly for himself. The Lord hears when I call to him. He hears us when we call to him. So make sure you're calling out to God. That's prayer. That's our way of communicating with him, right? don't be afraid to do that. And then Psalm 5 is, I'm going to read the whole thing. It's just very short. It's only like 9 or 10 verses. It says, "Give ear to my words, O Lord. Consider my groaning. Give attention to the sound of my cry, my King and my God, for to you do I pray. O Lord, in the morning you hear my voice. In the morning I prepare a sacrifice for you and watch." Okay, so these are the first 3 verses of Psalm 5. David is just doing that. If you've heard the acronym ACTS, adoration, that's what David's doing here. He's like, you I'm praying to. I'm praying to you and you alone, not all these heathen gods that are in this land. You, God, I'm praying to you, right? And then verse 3 says, "In the morning I prepare a sacrifice for you and watch." Okay, please do not prepare a sacrifice and then watch what happens. Okay. Your sacrifice in the morning could be your sleep. Okay. I try to be up by 5:30, and when Jared watches this, he's gonna write lie down here. I try to be, and some days I fail. This week I have been failing, and getting up as early as I want, but I'm still up early enough to be able to read my Bible and pray and have a couple cups of coffee. But in the morning, what can you sacrifice? If you just start 10 minutes earlier in the day, you'll have more time to pray and more time to read your Bible. Sorry, I'm trying to get this glare off my glasses and it bothers me. So that's your sacrifice. Don't sacrifice an animal, please. I'm just putting that disclaimer out there. So if you do, it's not my fault. Do not sacrifice an animal or anybody else. Sacrifice some of your time and your sleep in the morning, okay? And then another passage I want to point out is Luke 18. And I like this passage because I've had this question before. It's like, well, I just feel weird praying for the same thing over and over and over again. Well, let me just ask you this. Does your child feel weird, or does it bother them that they harass you? Can I have a cookie? Can I have a cookie? Can I have a cookie? Can I watch TV? Can I watch TV? Can I have my video game? Can I have my video game? No, your child does not care how many times they ask you for the same stinking thing. They're going to continue to ask you for the same thing. And that's what God wants from us. He wants us to keep asking and asking and asking. Okay? The answer might be no, the answer might be yes, and the answer might be wait. But he never wants you to stop asking for anything. So in this passage here in Luke 18, and this is why I use this as my backup for no, keep asking, asking, asking. This passage in Luke 18 is of a widow and the unjust judge, and it says, "And he told them a parable to the effect that they ought always to pray and not lose heart." This is Jesus. He said, "I am in a certain city there was a judge who neither feared God nor respected man. And there was a widow in that city who kept coming to him and saying, 'Give me justice against my adversary.' For a while he refused, but afterward he said to himself, 'Though I neither fear God nor respect man, yet because this widow keeps bothering me, I will give her justice, so that she will not beat me down by her continual coming.' And the Lord said, 'Hear what the unrighteous judge says. And will not God give justice to the elect who cry to him day and night?'" Okay, so will he not help us because we cry out to him day and night? Of course he will. But that doesn't mean we go, "Okay, Lord, please help me with, I don't know, my finances." And then you only pray at one time, but then you keep spending the way that you always have spent. Did that do any good? No. First of all, you weren't committed to it because you just kept on with spending the way that you've always been spending. And you only ask God once. How can God help you with something if you're not serious about it and you only ask once, right? So, here's some things. I just want to be honest and share some things with you about what I'm praying for. And if you haven't heard, we are moving. Jared got promoted within his company and he's taking over the Nashville region, but we're not moving until after Gabriel graduates high school. So sometime at the end of May, beginning of June, we're unsure yet. So we do not have plans. We just don't know. But because of that, that means that Jared will be traveling a lot out to Nashville and Tennessee and seeing his guys all over there, and parts of North Carolina. And so the things that I'm praying for right now are, guard my husband's heart while he travels, guard my heart while he travels, uh, help me be able to not lose my mind with the kids being with them all the time, because Jared will be gone, 4 out of 7 days each week while he's traveling. And so that makes for time where we're not with him and he's not with us, and that, there's no break, even though my kids are older and can take care of themselves. And I love them dearly, no matter how much you hear me complain about them. But it just gets hard. And so, and then help me be able to keep my home the way that it should be. I'll tell you what, I have a housekeeper and it has been a lifesaver for me. Okay. Um, it has, because I can't keep up with all of it, so, and I just, so those are that's one of the main things that I'm praying for right now is, while Jared's traveling, just keep our family from, having grief and strife with this change in our routine, and just keep his heart pure while he's traveling, and help me to be a good parent to the boys because their dad is gone. Um, and we'll adjust and it will be okay. But we can't do that on our own. So we have to ask God for help. So again, I encourage you to spend time in prayer, more than the 3 minutes that most people say that they're spending in prayer. And anyway, I'm obviously having some internet trouble because my video has gone out. So I don't know if you can see me still or hear me. But anyway, spend time this week in prayer. Write down your prayers and go through them. It helps keep a record of what you've gone through and how God has brought you through it. Anyway, have a great week. See you next Friday. Bye.